What happens when two fixers unknown to each other are forced to work together to clean up a crime scene, hide a body, and destroy all evidence, just to find out the person is not quite dead?
You get a movie that is just 46 minutes too long.
Find out next on Treason Space. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Treason Space, the show where we watch and review all the movies of every genre to tell you what the fans thought, the critics thought, and what we thought. Was it worthy of a forest? Just a step to sit on? I'm Jason, and that is Nate. In case you missed the thumbnail, this week we watched the 2004 action Wolves.
This is
So,
an action movie?
it's an action movie. It might be a drama. It's a crime drama, maybe. It's not really a drama. It's. I don't know what it is, but I put action. So,
I guess. I mean, the last 30 minutes of it is action packed.
did you look at her? It's called Wolves with the FS, like that was someone's last name. Instead of like more than one wolf.
No, I took it as more than one breed of wolf. So you have
Okay, because there are
wolves.
different kind of breeds of wolf. Like there's fishes, and that makes sense.
That's how I looked at it. Like it was okay, there's wolves.
Okay, there's an Arctic wolf, and then a Siberian wolf, and so different kind of wolf. You know what? I did not. I looked at it as, oh wow, okay, fair enough.
Did I just blow your brain for a second?
Yeah, it really did. Um, it just came out. It's on Apple or Amazon.
Apple.
Apple.
I believe it's on Apple, yes.
Yeah.
Uh the movie stars George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Mhm.
And I don't know how they can manage to fake seeing each other.
What do you
Like
mean?
when they first see each other in the room, right? And they're just like, hey, not like, hey, buddy. Like, I don't know. And it just seems like all these the times I see them in a movie together, it's Ocean's 11.
Well, see, that's the thing is that people talk about how these two are always in movies together, and I can name three, and that's the
Ocean's
Ocean
11,
trilogy.
12, and 13. Yeah.
Yeah. Have they been in other movies together? Because I'm not aware of them. Um, it's not like this is Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan who were in three movies together, but they had nothing to do with each other.
Well,
I mean, you expect people to be in the same movie if it's a continuation of the story.
right.
Um, but this story, someone dies in a really expensive hotel, and then this lady who picks up the phone because she has like connections, and they say, "I heard you fix things." The guy shows up, which is George Clooney, but there's video cameras, and the expensive hotel place saw it too, so they call their own cleaner or their own fixer, who's Brad Pitt. They both show up, and now there's a cock measuring contest.
Pretty much. It's I don't this isn't a bad movie, but it's not a good movie. Like it takes too long to get to the point.
There
Like,
was some scenes that were stretched that didn't need to be stretched.
I mean, I enjoyed the fact of, hey, there's a dead guy. Oh, but spoilers, he's not dead. And then it has then I like the whole story changes. So it's
Right.
not what you think it is.
Hmm.
And they just talk about, well, you accept the job, you got to finish the job, you got to make sure it's done. Like, and
And when did they become murderers? Like they were assassins at some point.
right, I
Like
thought they
they've done
just
that.
fixed, they were able to get rid of bodies,
Yes.
clean up. Like, I didn't expect
That's
them to
what I
be
thought too.
hitmen.
And as soon as the body's no longer a body and the body's a live person, then guess what? Your job's done. You,
That's what me too. I was like, well, fuck, this guy's all right. Well, why are you catching him? You don't need him.
yeah, it's done. And they spent a obscene amount of time chasing him around in his underwear.
Oh my God, yeah. And they must have taken something out of Zombieland
Hmm.
because staying limber and cardio is important.
Yeah.
because there's no way I'm chasing that motherfucker that far. And how the hell does George Clooney know where to find them at all times?
I mean, he lucks up, I suppose. I mean, the scene where he hits him with the car, I thought that was kind of cool because I thought he was going to kill him by hitting him, and that was going to change the story.
I expected him to die so many times.
But he just landed on his feet and kept running.
Yeah,
And I'm
the guy
like,
can't be killed.
no, he can't. Well, they even asked that question. Can he even be killed? Killed? Um, I appreciate the writing of the movie because there was a couple scenes. They did it in the middle a couple times, and they did it at the very end. At the very end, I hated they did it because I wanted to hear what each person said. But during the movie, when they were all like talking on the phone, they both be talking at the same time about talking to
Mhm.
the lady on the phone. So you
Yeah,
can't understand anything they're saying. And the lady on the phone goes, I didn't understand anything either one of you said. And I
right.
agree with that. But that's how real conversations take place.
Exactly. We usually do it all the time.
Yes. So I appreciated that. Um, I don't know if I appreciated what they were doing with the storyline because it seemed it was kind of muddled.
A little bit. Like they help this thing for, is she a senator or mayor?
DA.
DA. So they help out the DA by trying to dispose of this body and tells her to go home. Okay,
Mhm.
that's it?
Yeah. Why does she should have came up again?
Right. Something else should have happened. And I don't know. It's just, it seems like they rushed things, but slowed a lot of things down, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, it was like they just had to get these two people on the screen together, which I get. This is probably the last hurrah for at least George Clooney. Yeah, I like the fact how they both had back problems, like how they both had to wear glasses to read stuff
Mhm.
because they're both getting old. I like that.
They both
But
carried the same exact guns.
yes,
And
both
even
the
the
same
corp,
people.
yeah, even the corpse was like, "You sure you're not buddies?"
Exactly. So, and I think at some point in time, the movie turned to him being the main character, the corpse.
Yeah,
I mean, and not in a good way, like in Weekend at Bernie's.
it was uh it was kind of like a buddy cop movie almost,
Yep.
except they weren't cops.
No, they weren't. And it was just they had a couple like funny, not funny, but humorous try peats like he's not a prostitute. He's not a prostitute.
I'm not a prostitute.
Because he's not a prostitute because of the the same looks and the same charming personality that Brad Pitt and George Clooney has in their films when they play certain characters was on full display.
It was.
But it wasn't enough to save this movie.
It was not. Um, and it's kind of a shame because I like George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and I like them together. And, um, yeah,
Yep.
but it's just the beginning of this movie took too long. I can't help but say it. Like,
That was my favorite part of it. The
which
first
part?
30 minutes before the corpse is no longer a corpse, favorite part of the movie.
So before the corpse is no longer a corpse, you enjoyed the corpse scene. I
I
enjoyed
like,
like their introductory scene. But I
yes,
didn't like how she's like, "How'd you get this number?"
yeah,
A guy gave it to me. Okay, but who? You said you said that.
yeah,
They didn't need that.
right. And they
Why
needed
couldn't she just know the guy? Why did
right.
you have to ask all those questions?
And then you get to the end of the movie where he's walking out of the thing, the diner, and the guy said that you finish your job. And that's what a gentleman do, man of his word. So he stops and turns around. He said, "Oh, we got the same guy and the same handler." Is there supposed to be a part two because we're gonna figure out who that person is?
Uh, uh, Only if they can survive the
Gunshot at
mafia
Oak
hit
Corral.
squad out front of their freaking diner.
And that was another thing that was just nuts to me. And they finally get to the Albanian drug lords and stuff. And see, it was too muddled. It was going to you know what I thought when they picked up the bag in the back and there was cocaine in there? You know what I thought?
What'd you think?
I thought he was a journalist doing a report on the DA and got up there and there was a camera in the bag and recorded all of it. That was
Um,
going to go to a off-site place recording. and they had to find that, and then that would say humorous still and not be so serious. And it's like we got to figure that part out because now they're caught on camera.
Speaking of caught on camera, the very end of the movie, they show the security tape. I thought that was enjoyable.
I did too. It's cute.
I was like, okay, it explains that's like, why didn't they just show that? Like,
Yes.
open the movie with that scene in color
Hmm.
or in regular camera angles and shit. And then she's like, oh shit, calls the fixer.
Hmm.
They don't have to go through the, how'd you get this number? She just has a guy. Why not? She's in politics. She's got a guy.
Right.
Like,
And why would she need to call him anyway? Because she wasn't married. She found a young man at a bar and would have sex with him. There's nothing illegal about that. So
no.
why would she not just call him?
But
Like
it's a good thing that she did call him because she's the DA and she's strict on drugs and there's 4 kilos of
true.
cocaine or whatever sitting there.
And we never get to see the person who's the hotel director.
Nope.
Like
Just
these
saw her
side
pointing
characters,
fingers.
they just kind of put these characters in there to push along, which is fine. Like it makes sense when it's the one girl that was helping the OD person, the
Yes.
doctor. That made sense. She's in there for a reason. That reason's done. He's okay. You need her no longer. I think you needed the hotel manager and the other lady in there again later on in the movie.
I didn't expect, a dance scene in a nightclub with
No, the nightclub dance scene was really weird and they pulled the guns out. That I don't remember them having guns to that point.
they never referenced having guns. So it's
Because they're cleaners, they're fixtures. They don't start problems. They just
fix.
does that mean that if someone sees them moving a body, they kill that person too? And they had to hide that body? I mean,
I don't know. There's too
and it's
many whats.
and the whole things may take care of themselves. They expect this kid to go deliver the drugs and they were going to shoot them. And that's the end of the movie where they figured out they're being set up.
Right. They're
How,
being cleaned.
they're being cleaned, but how? How are they being cleaned when the guy that had the heart attack, the guy that died,
Hmm.
did he fall on purpose? Just so they would accidentally call those two? That makes no sense.
None of it makes sense.
They just tied it together with a piece of crap bow. The more I talk about this, the more I dislike this movie, even though you're right, it is a little long. The first act was the best act because after that, they just kind of said, what the hell? Let's just write a story and see where it goes. They had no ending in sight, I don't think.
But see, I think I enjoy the last 30 minutes the most.
So now the part where he's running around the underwear, that's the middle of 30 minutes, everybody. And that was about 30 minutes of him running around in his
Yeah.
underwear.
No, like,
The shootout.
yeah. Like when they finally get to the Coke spot, or like
Mhm.
from the, let's say hey boys, come have a seat. And they have that conversation. He's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, and they push and he gets knocked out and he gets thrown out. Like, and then from that point to
Yeah.
if we get out of this, deal.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Because
that was the
we
best
don't know
part
their
of this
names.
movie.
Yeah.
Right. Like to me, that was the best part.
That was pretty good. The very end, and even though at the very end, as they're talking over each other to explain what happened to them, I still don't know who did what. I know they're being cleaned. I got that part. But they were talking over each other so much that's like, who did that? The plan is laid out, but I can't understand it. I
Right.
didn't, but maybe that's the point.
I think so. I think it's just that they're trying to show that they're that similar. Like they're almost exactly the same person. And I think
They
that's
definitely had that theme going, didn't they?
they definitely did. And I think that was like their hinting of, and like when they showed in the bar, they put down the exact same guns. The guy's like, "Oh, they're buddies." Like,
Is that how we figured it out by seeing the same gun?
yep.
Uh,
He just assumed.
yeah, so I was like, he saw these guns, like, okay, so they got two identical guns, so why does that matter? Those guns must have pulled up somewhere else, so they clipped out on the edit room floor because there had to be a scene that explained those two guns meaning something.
Exactly.
So, well, Is there anything else you would like to put about this movie before we move on to the reviews?
I think we've been kicking the dead horse way too long.
That's fair. So the first five-star review comes from Ernest L. I've been waiting for an on-screen magic like this since Ocean's 11. Not sure why so many people hated the film. It was funny and shot and well acted. I really hope there's a follow-up.
Um, I agree with all of what he said, almost. It was well acted, it was well shot. It had humorous parts,
Mhm.
and I would like to see a second one.
Yeah, I like to see how it happens. At least how they get out of the shootout.
Yeah, I want to know their names.
Yeah, I want to know the names too, and find out. There's got to be part two. There's got to be.
I don't know. We'll see. Uh, this first one star or less comes from unknown. What a terrible, boring movie. I think these guys were just in it for the money. Usually they make good movies, but this is definitely not worth watching. I quit halfway through.
Then if it's
Again, you missed the best part.
yeah, it's crazy. You're halfway through and you can't review it. Oh, The Men Who Stare at Goats. They were in that together, and that was a terrible movie.
I love that movie.
Do you really?
Too.
It is not a good movie.
It's so good. It's like a three tree movie.
Everyone, tell us if you want us to watch that movie. The last five-star review comes from Razvan N. When people say they don't make them like they used to, this is the used to they're referring to. 90-minute runtime, decent storyline, good characters, great star power, and charisma. Was like 7 minutes of ending credits and 7 minutes of beginning credits. That's why it's only 90 minutes running because that movie was definitely an hour and 47 minutes long.
It felt like 2 hours. But I mean, again, your five stars are right. There is charisma beyond charisma in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The two sexy men on screen can't go wrong. Well, maybe you can.
You can't look at us.
The last one star or less comes from Zinger 305R. The best part of this movie was the trailer. I was expecting so much more from these two heavyweights.
I almost made that my WTF because like the best part of the movie is the trailer. It's like that's
Pretty bad.
movie. But then again, a lot of trailers are better than the actual movies. A lot of trailers are more than the sum of the parts.
Oh, name one right now. Yeah, see,
Okay,
you can't.
4:30.
Too late. You couldn't come up with one. I'm sorry.
I said 4:30, right?
Oh, too late. It took you too long. See, you didn't even give this guy time to answer.
Yeah.
See, what's it
I like
like
the
to be
callback. I
yeah,
like the
you're welcome.
callback. Okay, the WTF review. Bob S. Half a star. Wow, how can anybody have liked this? It sucked even on fast forward.
I mean, at least he finished.
But if it's on fast forward, can you understand? Can they talk? Do they actually speak faster too?
I don't know. Uh, I'm
I
curious.
think you missed a few things fast forward. What?
Yeah, I think so too. Like the ending, the best part of the movie.
Yeah. So it probably sucked more on fast forward, but like you said, at least he finished the movie.
At least he finished.
So let's go on to the critics and the audience's scores. Rotten Tomatoes scored this at a 67%, while the audience, that's you, scored this at a 50%.
Holy wow. This
Yeah,
is one of the rare times that Rotten Tomatoes thinks that a pile of crap is better than the audience.
I think it's because it's Clooney and Pitt, and their charismatic on-screen bromance.
Better not be nominated for any type of award.
Okay, now you've heard what the audience thinks, what the critics thinks, and the reviewers think, and now you can listen to what we think. Well, I'm gonna go first here, and I would not recommend this to my surgeon. And I'm actually having surgery tomorrow, so I'm not gonna go in there and say, "Hey, you need to watch this movie I just watched." If he asked me about it, I'd say, "Yeah, you probably want to give it a look," but I would not go out of my way to tell him.
It's fair.
Um, I liked the writing. I didn't think it was too long. Obviously, you can't go wrong with Pitt and Clooney usually. It just kind of went nowhere, and I didn't feel, they had hero, no heart, has some heroic. So this is one of the three H's that Nate says it has to have.
Mm,
Um, I thought there was like lines or storylines that just died, just fell off. If this is the first of two movies or three movies, maybe it's a better movie, but it can't be a standalone. So until I know it's not, I'm my biggest fan. So I am going to give this movie with no nudity, by the way,
mhm.
almost. I'm going to give it two trees.
Now it's my turn.
That's fair. You know, you're right. Actually, this movie actually has heart, humor, and heroics. All of it is in this movie, and that will not save this movie from the ranking that I'll give it. Uh, Clooney and Pitt could not save this movie for me. They were right up there together. Best part with the corpse. I think the development of the corpse helped save the movie, and the fact that it was a relatively unknown actor.
Mhm.
Assume he's been in other stuff, but I don't know for sure.
I
Um,
think he has.
but grand scheme, I mostly enjoyed it. I wouldn't recommend it to my surgeon. If somebody asks me what movie I recently watched, I'll tell them and I'll say it was fine. You could put it on and it would be a fine movie to watch with your lady. With that, I am going to say this movie is a one tree in the stump from me.
Well, you heard it here first. Nate and Smitty, now you know what we think about this movie, Wolves. But tell us what you think about this movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Please comment, share this, subscribe if you haven't, put notification bell on so you can be informed every time we put a video out there. And that way the algorithm monster is fed and he's hungry. But we will see you next Monday on Treason Space.